it going. Whoa. Hey everyone, welcome back to You Enjoy Life. In light of recent events, I've decided to kind of open the format up a bit here. Instead of trying to make specific videos, I want to show you different things that I'm doing in life, not to cope, not to survive, but to thrive in these times. And no matter what situation you're in, know that there's always something that you can do to grow your life, to look deeper into yourself. It's easy to blame people out in the world, but sometimes we got to point the finger back at ourselves and see, hey, how can I take advantage of these times to actually learn something new, to thrive, to grow, to change? Even if times are really tough, even if there's a lot of fear and chaos out there, you can always find a way to center yourself. For me, that's being physical, going on walks and runs and dancing, and I love cooking and playing music, and these are just basic things that I do. So I figured instead of just trying to make videos about specific things, I just want to kind of take you on these little journeys, these little nuggets of life to show you what I'm doing to stay sane, stay focused, and also completely grow and change my life. Yesterday I did a huge clean, I organized all my stuff, but yesterday was kind of a weird day because I went to the market. It was the last day, so we just got the order until April 10th that Colorado is going to be completely, especially Denver and where I'm staying, Boulder, completely closed down, which basically means that anything that's non-essential business will not be open. Social distancing, you can't spend time with anybody other than the people you're living with, so we're basically quarantining for a while. We have access to some groceries, but I don't know what's going to be available. A lot of things are already out of stock. So I've stocked up. I've been smart. I've been preserving food and kind of taking care of that element. And it's actually been quite fun. I like seeing what the world gives me, and then how can I flow within that and work within that instead of panicking. But tensions have been a bit high, and yesterday I went to the market, and let's just say I was standing in line, but we were doing this sort of social distancing thing, and so 6 feet away from everybody. And this lady, I was getting ready. I was had been in line for about 10 minutes, and this lady just kind of cut me off, and I was like, "Oh, excuse me, the line's back there." And she's like, "Really? You're telling me you're in line?" I was like, "Yeah, social distancing. The line looks a little strange right now." I was confused too when I got into it. And she proceeded to try to convince me that I was lying and that I was just standing there. And then I told her where the line was, and she's like, "Oh, so now you're directing me? You're gonna direct all these other people?" And she just kind of gave me this whole thing, and I was like, "Listen, ma'am, it's really simple. This is where the line is. I get your confusion. That's where the line ends, and you can go back there." And I was just like, "Have a nice day." And she was not happy with that. Honestly, it threw me off because I don't like confrontation. And she was coming at a very aggressive energy. And it just made me uncomfortable. I've spent most of my life, whenever I would see people arguing or physically fighting, I just got sick and uncomfortable. It's actually why I got into martial arts, because it was a way for me to actually center myself and feel grounded within myself and not be succumbed to the same fear. But I felt it coming up, and I was annoyed and frustrated. And it just kind of threw my day off. And then I really thought about it, and I'm like, listen, there's a lot going on in the world today, and whatever people project on you has nothing to necessarily do with you. It's good to be aware of your actions. I'm not saying that I'm not responsible of anything that I do, but oftentimes when somebody comes out of nowhere and it just has anger, frustration, whether it's a random person or someone you love, typically they're going through something that has nothing or very little to do with you. And instead of making it mean something, it's like, okay, tensions are high. Let's just kind of slow down. Everything's going to be okay. So I'm here to remind you that everything is going to be okay. And I just wanted to wake up and share that little story. I've had other experiences where I've gotten in arguments with people in the past and been able to kind of clear that out just by actually pausing and thinking about it, and oftentimes confronting that person and be like, "Hey, what's really going on here?" So speaking of what's going on, I want to show you guys a little bit about this. Where's a good spot? How about over here? Welcome over here. Okay, so these are sprouts. I got a mixture of different sprouts, and if you have never sprouted your own things before, it's quite awesome. So what you do is you get some seeds. What do we got over here? Okay, so I actually use this mix, and this is a sandwich mix. You've probably seen the market. They usually cost $5 or $6, but you can get a pack of seeds, and this is I think $4 or $3 for this whole thing, and you don't have to use that much. And all you do is you soak your seeds in water, and you let them sit for it'll tell you on the package, but depending on the seed, it could be anywhere from 6 to 12 hours in water. And then you put your seeds in a mason jar. And I have this really cool nifty lid, which allows me to drain my seeds. But if you don't have it, that's okay. what you do is you put your seeds in a mason jar, you drain them out, you can use any kind of strainer, and then you just kind of let them sit away from direct sunlight, and you just let them sit on the side. I have mine on the side so they all have their own little space. See how they're all kind of got their own little space. And then every day, once if not twice a day, you wash them, strain them out, and you keep doing that, and eventually they'll start to sprout, and they'll keep sprouting, and you can kind of keep them going until the sprouts start to turn a little bit green, and then you end up with something kind of like this. So I've actually been saving my berry cases for different things, and look, sprouts. Let's see if I can get you in there. So these are actually lentil sprouts. What I find fascinating about sprouts is that you're basically taking a seed of, so you're taking something that's dry. And what's cool about that is you have different options. When you have something that's dry, I could just cook lentils, obviously. I could grind them up and turn them into some kind of lentil powder, or if it's a different seed, you can use whatever powder to make pancakes or sprinkled in different things, or you can sprout them. So I think it's so cool that we assume things that are dry, they're kind of like that's their final stage and they're dead or whatever. But what's cool is, of course, they're seeds, so they're alive. The sprouting is an option, but so is this microgreens. Give this guy a little spritzer. Unfortunately, this is a little experiment, and I kind of I've failed at it, but it should work. You basically put seeds on some paper towel and spritz them. I just forgot for a day. Hey, for you. Okay. So these are actually broccoli microgreens. All I did was take a little soil, sprinkle my seeds all over, cover them with a little bit of soil, keep them damp. I actually first covered it with some plastic wrap until they started to sprout, and then I put them near some sunlight. And yeah, they're just gonna grow and grow and grow, and then in a week or so I can just start snipping them off and have these amazing microgreens. And microgreens, like sprouts, I mean, they're essentially the same thing. It's just one's in soil and will grow longer, and the other one is just the sprout that you're getting. So pretty cool. You can get a lot of freshness out of that. And we're gonna go outside. I've expressed this a little bit in some videos, but I feel like I've been preparing for this whole thing for a long time, and again, not in a negative way, but there's a piece of me that has been thinking about the sort of what if. Not to say we're in any kind of apocalypse situation. I'm not saying that. No, not to say that at all. However, I have been thinking about what it would be like in the world if I had to survive on my own, and that's what this is about. And it's been kickstarting this whole thing, and that's what I find fascinating about life is the universe presents things to you, and it says hey, check it out. This is what's happening. What are you going to do about it? And life is always presenting us with stuff. Sometimes small things, sometimes big things. Because people have catastrophes every single day. Just because this is a global epidemic thing that's happening almost all around the world, every day people have their own catastrophes and really tough and horrible and ununderstandable, is that a word? Ununderstandable things that go on. And people also have great things that happen. And it's the attachment to what we think that thing needs to be that tends to screw us up. So by thinking, okay, this should be a certain way and it's not this way, and then I'm just going to be frustrated. But when you recognize that everything is happening for you and you start to look from that perspective, everything starts to shift, everything starts to change, because suddenly we realize that, you know what, if I allow what comes to me, I'm speaking for myself, but this can be for anybody, but if I allow what comes to me and I see it not as good or bad, but just as it is, well, then I can think, okay, how am I supposed to show up in this situation? What does this situation call for? So I've been practicing for a long time to be able to be self-sustainable, and I didn't grow up on a farm by any means. So all the stuff that I'm learning about all the cooking and growing food and taking care of myself, has been years and years of kind of getting to understand how that makes sense, how it works, what I'm supposed to do in that space. So whatever situation you're in right now, look at the situation and what is it calling for? Maybe there's something you've always wanted to do. Maybe you lost your job. Maybe you're out of your job, and that sucks. But you know what? If you have a roof over your head and you have the very, very basics need, well, then you can start to think, okay, what else can I do? Maybe this is my opportunity to try something new, to take something new on, it could be something big. It could be hey, I'm going to start that online business I've always wanted to do, or I'm going to start, working out every single day, or cooking my own food, or whatever, or learning how to play guitar, whatever the thing might be. You have an opportunity to change it. That could also just say, I'm going to start journaling. I've always wanted to kind of look deeper into myself and get to know myself better, so I'm going to start doing that. So there's infinite number of possibilities right now, and I've just been in this state of flow where I'm waking up every day I have work calls, I have, making videos and stuff, obviously, but I'm also just tuning into, okay, what do I want to do? What does my body want to do? What does my being say? Hey, I'm craving this right now. I'm craving this food. I'm craving just going for a run. I've also been doing a lot of cold training, so taking cold showers. Cold showers are a great way to kickstart your day. I don't drink caffeine, so I wake up and I just go about my day. And I usually shower at night, but sometimes a cold shower in the morning is... And you can start hot, and then basically at the end you turn the shower really cold, and what you'll notice is you'll be and the cool thing about cold training is you go from that state of like hyperventilating, freaking out, to being calm. So the whole thing is controlling your breath, because if we don't need to be doing that. If we can go... So like yesterday I ran up the side of the mountain and I was really out of breath, and first I found myself like in that and then it's like sipping the air, as Wim Hof says. And if you do breath work as well with cold training, you'll feel like you're tripping face. It's amazing. And it gives you so much energy. And a lot of people that don't even do a lot of long distance, like conditioned running, just by breathing, they're able to have much better cardio, which is pretty cool. Yeah, Free wants to play. So there's a lot of different things going on in my house. I've been showing some different projects. We made tikka masala last night. That was really dope. I've been making a ton of bread. And yesterday, this is really fun, I made, where are we? A couple things I'll show you. Sorry. I'll show you a couple little projects. There's always projects happening. Always projects. This, see that? My friend gave me this recipe for this cashew Alfredo sauce. So it's a vegan Alfredo. I tweaked it a bit, but you're looking at cashews. I'm not going to give you the exact recipe, but it's basically cashews, garlic. I put in some nutmeg. You can put like rosemary in there. I actually blended up some, it's not raw, it could be raw, but I added some congee. I had this like leftover rice congee. It's like a rice porridge, and I just blended it in there to thicken it up. And there's lemon and salt, and it's so good. It's so good. But I also made, I'm gonna put this down, let's see here. That's kind of cool. Yeah. Oh, see that? That's good stuff. This is homemade butter. That's right, folks. So I think today deserves some bread. No, you never see. No, you know nowhere where you're going when you're lost. In the end of the fate is watching out, 'cause you're not really anything at all. You may have a character that you play. You may convince yourself and maybe even others someday. But there's only one truth to you. What should I do? What should I do? Well, remember, kids, there's a child inside of all of us. We have an adult that can comfort that child, and a child that can comfort that adult. It's the merging of the two worlds into the one, the unified whole, the non-dualistic nature of reality that we all make sense of. I'll say this. It's really easy to lose ourselves amongst a lot of the fear and a lot of the headlines and things going on. And if you do, I don't blame you. But it's important to find ways to come back to here. Sometimes little things that seem insignificant, like making bread or cooking, it's like this really amazing meditative state where you can kind of recenter yourself. Because if you're giving away your power to other people, that's just the way we're shown who we really are in these times. And you don't have to be perfect. It's not about being perfect. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Are you hungry? It's not about being perfect, but recognizing, stopping yourself, saying, wait a minute, am I letting this overtake me? because does the fear and the panic help? No. So find ways to get centered. Cooking, doing projects, finding new ways to connect to friends, writing that book you've always wanted to write, whatever it is. Get in that flow state, and things will start to make a lot more sense, because when you're in tune with nature and when you're in tune with life, no matter what happens, it's all happening for you, and will make a lot more sense from that perspective versus the like, woe is me, victim thing. Don't be a victim. Don't blame others. See what you can do, and if you have privilege and you have opportunity, share it. And if you don't, look for it, ask for help. Whatever it is, we're all in this together. Yeah. Peace out.